Doctors said I should have slowed down decades ago. But I'm 92, I still drive, and I've never been sick in 30 years, not even a cold. And no, it's not because I'm lucky. It's because of 5 habits that changed everything. Some of them are so simple you'd think they couldn't possibly work, but they do. Here's what I do differently, and why you might want to start today. Every morning, before my feet even touch the floor, I move. It's not exercise. It's not stretching. It's what I call a signal to my body, a message that today, we move, we breathe, we live. I've done this since I was 62. A doctor once told me that the body ages fastest in the first 30 minutes after you wake up. Your blood is thicker, your joints are stiff, and your nervous system? It's still wiping the sleep from its eyes. But most people rush it. They swing out of bed, grab their phone, and jolt straight into the stress of the day. What I do is the opposite. I lie on my back, and I begin with 3 deep breaths. I stretch my fingers, wiggle my toes, then slowly rotate my ankles and wrists. It takes 90 seconds, but it tells every joint, every tendon, every muscle, wake up, you're needed. It might sound silly, but this tiny ritual sends blood flow to my limbs, oxygen to my brain, and awareness to my movement. It reduces the chance of falls, calms my nervous system, and boosts circulation. Studies from the National Institute on Aging back this up. Older adults who engage in gentle morning mobility movements report higher levels of energy, mental clarity, and balance throughout the day. Still think it's too simple? Let me share what my mornings used to look like. At 60, I used to wake up stiff. I'd stumble to the bathroom, legs heavy, head foggy. Once, I even tripped over my slippers because my feet didn't wake up in time. That's when I knew. If I didn't send a signal to my body, it would keep hitting snooze. Now, I don't skip it. I do it before my coffee, before I check the news. And if I forget, my body reminds me. What's powerful isn't the stretch, it's the habit. It's consistency that rewires the body, not intensity. The Mayo Clinic has published research showing that consistent, low-intensity mobility practice in the morning can reduce inflammation markers, support joint health, and even regulate blood pressure in older adults. That's not hype. That's science. And here's the thing: you don't need yoga. You don't need a mat. You don't even need to get out of bed. You just need 90 seconds and a message to your muscles. We're still in this together. So ask yourself, when's the last time you truly said good morning to your body? Because aging doesn't happen all at once. It happens in moments like this, quiet, early, forgettable. And it's in those moments that you can begin again. And it's in those moments that you can begin again. Every single morning, after I move, I drink something that's kept me from getting sick for over 30 years. It's not a supplement. It's not a pill. And it's definitely not some $50 powdered superfood from the internet. It's a warm glass of water with lemon, turmeric, and a pinch of black pepper. That's it. But don't let the simplicity fool you. This habit is a powerhouse. It's the first thing that enters my system every morning. And it's how I prime my immune system, lower inflammation, and jumpstart digestion before breakfast. Let's break it down. Lemon. Fresh lemon juice floods the body with vitamin C, a potent antioxidant that supports white blood cell production, the immune system's front line. According to the Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State University, vitamin C doesn't just prevent illness, it helps shorten its duration, especially for older adults. It also kickstarts bile production in the liver, which supports healthy digestion and helps prevent the buildup of toxins. Ever wonder why digestion slows with age? Often, it's low stomach acid, and lemon helps fix that. Next comes turmeric, nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory root. It contains a compound called curcumin, which has been shown in hundreds of peer-reviewed studies to lower inflammatory markers in the body. Markers that rise as we age and can lead to chronic diseases, joint pain, even cognitive decline. A study published in Frontiers in Pharmacology found that curcumin supplementation improved immune function in aging adults and reduced oxidative stress. But here's the trick. Black pepper isn't just for taste, it's the activator. It contains a compound called piperine, which increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. Without it, turmeric barely enters the bloodstream. Together, these three ingredients form what I call my golden glass. It takes less than 5 minutes to make. Just heat a cup of water not boiling, just warm enough to drink comfortably. Squeeze in half a lemon, add 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and a pinch of black pepper. Stir, sip, and let it do its work. I've had this drink nearly every morning for 3 decades. Not because I read it online, because I felt the difference. When I started this habit, I used to get sinus infections twice a year like clockwork. My joints ached every winter, and I always felt sluggish after breakfast. I thought it was just part of aging, something I'd have to accept. But 2 weeks after introducing one small change, something so simple it felt almost silly, I noticed a shift. My digestion improved. I wasn't bloated anymore. My joints felt looser, freer, and the only thing I had changed was adding a 1 glass of lemon water with turmeric and black pepper every morning. A few months later, I realized I hadn't been sick in nearly a year. That was 30 years ago, and I've stuck with this habit ever since. Do I still get exposed to viruses? Of course. I live in the same world you do, full of germs, stress, and uncertainty. But the difference is, my body doesn't roll out the red carpet for them anymore. It's awake. It's alert. It's prepared. This golden glass, that's what I call it, is more than a drink. It's a signal. Just like my morning movement ritual, it tells my body, we're on offense today. We're not just reacting to life, we're showing up for it, fully present, fully engaged. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need fancy detox kits or complex wellness protocols. What you need are small, consistent habits that whisper to your body every morning, I care about you. So tomorrow, before the toast pops or the eggs crack, pour yourself something golden. And as you sip, remember, you're not just drinking a beverage. You're making a declaration. I choose health not by chance, but by choice. Another one of those choices? I walk. Not for exercise. Not for weight loss. I walk for healing. Every single day, rain or shine, I step outside and take a 15-minute anti-inflammatory walk. No headphones. No phone. Just me, my breath, and the rhythm of my steps. Most people underestimate walking. They see it as something you do when you can't run, as if it's a backup plan, something less than. But at 92, I can tell you, walking is the foundation. Back in my 60s, I used to jog. Thought I needed to sweat buckets to stay young. But then I read a study that shifted my entire perspective. It said the simple act of walking, just walking, could reduce systemic inflammation, regulate blood sugar, boost memory, and even reduce your risk of death by 39%. That's when I stopped chasing sweat and started embracing rhythm. You see, walking isn't just about moving your body forward. It's about moving everything else back into place. Your joints, your lymphatic system, your nervous system, even your thoughts. It's alignment, inside and out. And here's the real secret. I do it every day. No matter what. I don't walk far. Some days, it's just around the block. But I never miss it. Not because I'm especially disciplined, but because I've felt what happens when I don't. I become stiff. My joints ache. My thoughts get cloudy. My digestion slows. Everything gets sluggish. But when I walk, I'm a machine. My shoulders roll back. My knees stay flexible. My mood rises. And by the time I return home, I feel like I've been reset, like I've hit a mental and physical reboot button. There's real science behind this. A study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that just 20 minutes of walking reduced levels of C-reactive protein, a marker of inflammation in older adults. Another study from Stanford showed that walking boosts creativity and mental clarity more than any seated activity. But if you want to know what really sold me, It was a moment about 25 years ago. One morning, I skipped my walk. I was busy. Told myself I'd do it later. But the day got away from me, and for the first time in years, I felt old. Not tired. Not sore. Just old. Like the joints weren't mine. Like my lungs had forgotten how to stretch. That was the moment I knew. Walking isn't optional. It's medicine. Now I treat my daily walk like a prescription. I put on supportive shoes. I start slow. I breathe deeply 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. I swing my arms to keep my posture open. And here's something you might not expect. I smile while I walk. Not because I'm happy, but because it makes me happy. That small act, smiling, activates your vagus nerve, a powerful part of your nervous system that regulates inflammation, heart rate, and even digestion. A study in psychosomatic medicine found that smiling, especially during movement, amplifies the anti-stress effects of physical activity. So I smile. I breathe. I walk 15 minutes a day. And it's given me decades of strength. You don't need fancy gear. You don't need perfect weather. You don't even need energy. Walking gives it to you. Your body was built to move. And every step you take says, I still can. So if you've been feeling stuck, tired, foggy, don't wait for motivation. Put on your shoes, open the door, and tell your body, let's begin again. Because motion is life. And there's one more thing I never skip, not once in over 30 years. It's not a vitamin. It's not a magic mineral. It's something much more foundational: protein. When I turned 60, I thought I was eating well. Fruits, veggies, whole grains, even the occasional multivitamin. But I was still losing strength. My energy dipped by mid-morning. I started forgetting things' names, where I left my keys, even whether I'd eaten lunch. I thought it was just age creeping in. But my doctor said, no, you're just not getting enough protein. It turns out that after age 60, your body becomes less efficient at absorbing and using protein. I didn't know that back then. I just thought getting weaker was part of the aging process: stiff joints, slower recovery, more fatigue. But it's not just age. It's adaptation. The older body needs more, not less, of certain nutrients and protein tops that list. Protein isn't just for bodybuilders. It's for everyone, especially those of us over 60. Why? Because protein helps preserve muscle, memory, immunity, and healing. But here's the catch. As we age, we become less efficient at breaking down protein and turning it into usable fuel. So if we eat the same amount we did in our 40s or 50s, we're actually getting less benefit from it. That was a wake-up call for me. And it's when I changed my breakfast completely. Instead of toast or cereal, which used to spike my blood sugar and leave me sluggish by mid-morning, I started eating what I now call the brain and body breakfast. It's simple. 1 boiled egg, a cup of Greek yogurt, a handful of walnuts, a few fresh blueberries. That's it. No fancy powders. No trendy ingredients. Just real, whole food, and all together, it gives me over 25 grams of high-quality protein, along with anti-inflammatories, healthy fats, and brain-boosting antioxidants. It doesn't just fill me, it fuels me. And here's why that matters so much. Protein is the raw material for almost everything in your body. Your immune cells are made from amino acids. So are your enzymes, which repair damaged tissues. So are the neurotransmitters that keep your brain sharp, balanced, and resilient under stress. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed 25-30 grams of protein per meal had better muscle mass, fewer hospitalizations, and even longer lifespans than those who didn't. Another study from Tufts University showed that seniors with higher protein intake had stronger immune responses not only to illness, but also to vaccines. It's not just about strength. It's about resilience. But, and this is important, not all proteins are created equal. That's why I focus on complete proteins, the kind that contain all 9 essential amino acids your body can't make on its own. Eggs? Perfect score. Greek yogurt? Complete protein, plus calcium and probiotics. Walnuts? Not a complete protein, but packed with omega-3s and inflammation fighters. Blueberries? The antioxidant glue that ties it all together. This breakfast doesn't just keep me full. It keeps me unshakable. And here's something I didn't expect. My blood sugar stabilized. I used to crash around 11 a.m., craving sugar, nodding off, feeling foggy. Now I glide through the morning like I'm 40 again. Whether I've got errands, meetings, long drives, I'm steady, sharp, and calm. All because I started my day with what matters most. And no, it doesn't have to be fancy. Sometimes I swap in cottage cheese with flax seeds, or a small piece of grilled chicken on sprouted toast. If I'm feeling creative, maybe a lentil scramble. But one thing never changes. Never skip protein, especially at breakfast. That first meal of the day sets the tone. It tells your body, we're ready to repair, restore, and perform. You wouldn't fuel a car with fumes. So why do we do it to ourselves? A protein-rich breakfast isn't a luxury. It's a lifeline, and one you can start tomorrow, no matter your age or your past. Because your body doesn't care how old you are. It cares how you feed it today. But here's something no doctor ever told me, something I had to learn for myself over time. Your mind gets sick before your body does. If you want to stay young, truly young, you have to start there. Every single morning, before I speak to anyone, before I check the weather or look at the headlines, I do something I call mental tuning. It's not meditation. It's not therapy. It's just this. I sit still for 3 minutes and I picture the kind of day I want to have. I don't imagine the traffic. I don't think about my to-do list or the bills or the weather. I focus only on how I want to feel: calm, strong, steady, useful. Then I picture myself moving through the day in that state. I see myself behind the wheel, confident. I imagine conversations going smoothly. I feel peaceful no matter what comes. Now, this may sound small, but it's one of the most powerful things I do. Why? Because your brain doesn't know the difference between something you imagine vividly and something that actually happens. That's not a motivational quote, that's neuroscience. Dr. Joe Dispenza and researchers at Harvard have shown through fMRI scans that when people vividly imagine doing an activity, the same areas of the brain light up as if they were doing it in real life. Over time, this rewires your nervous system. In other words, you can train your body to be calm, focused, and alert before you even get out the door. Why does that matter? Because chronic stress is the #1 immune system killer. Not germs. Not genetics. Stress. Stress raises cortisol. Cortisol damages brain cells, weakens immune response, and even strips muscle from your frame. And as seniors, we carry stress differently. It shows up as confusion, fatigue, or sudden illness that seems to come from nowhere. But when you take 3 minutes every morning to tune your mind, everything shifts. Let me tell you a quick story. Years ago, I had a friend same age, same background, same general health. But he was always stressed. News, politics, money, you name it. He lived in a constant state of fight or flight. Then one day, he collapsed. Heart issue. No warning. He recovered, thankfully, but things were never quite the same. One day he asked me, "How come you never rattled? Don't you ever worry?" And I said to him, "Worry is a thief, and every morning I lock the door." It starts with intention, and it ends with resilience. Here's the best part. When you train your mind to be still, your body follows. Your blood pressure lowers. Your immune cells activate. Your digestion improves. Even your memory gets sharper. A 2016 study from the University of Wisconsin-Madison found that just 5 minutes of daily mental rehearsal significantly reduced anxiety, boosted immune markers, and improved focus. in adults over 65, and the effects lasted for weeks. So yes, I walk. I eat protein. I drink my turmeric tonic. But none of that would matter without this. Because your thoughts shape your hormones, and your hormones shape your health. You don't need to be a monk. You don't need candles or mantras or a guru. Just sit. Picture strength. Picture joy. Picture yourself at 92 behind the wheel, smiling at traffic, laughing because you haven't been sick in years. And one day, you'll notice something strange. It becomes real. So now you know it wasn't luck. It wasn't genetics. It wasn't some secret I kept to myself for decades. It was 5 simple choices, done daily, done consistently. 5 tiny habits that rewired my body and maybe even saved my life. And the truth is, you don't have to be 92 to start. You just have to start. The morning movement. The golden glass. The healing walk. The breakfast that builds. The mind that leads the body. They may look small, but they're mighty. Because health doesn't disappear in an instant. It slips away in the things we skip, and it returns the same way, quietly, daily, and with love. Thought by thought. Step by step. Bite by bite. So if you're still wondering if it's too late, let me remind you, you're still here. You still can. And you're already on your way. But there's one more thing I haven't told you yet. Something I do every single night after the meals, the movement, and the mental tuning. A simple practice that repairs my body while I sleep. And science says it might just be the missing key to reversing aging itself. We'll talk about that next.